Hello and welcome back to South Coast Busways here at the Southampton Maritime Garage, where we're looking at last episode's handiwork, some of the 54-blade N94UB Scania OmniCities that we bought to launch the 6. And last episode we basically went through and activated all of our currently inactive bus routes. So the entire network is now providing service as it should. So now, I think, we can finally turn back and look at expansion. And there's one expansion that I've been wanting to do since we started Solent Red. Several episodes ago, I can't remember how long. And that is a direct route from Southampton along this very straight road, up through Nursling, Ranhams and Upton, and then through the rural area, and into Romsey. And that is the Romsey Rocket, or it will be, as it's numbered, the 1. And I've created some, maybe a little bit accidentally, but also kind of on purpose, a fair amount of lore around Solent Red, particularly in the early 2000s, which basically goes that the early 2000s there was this program called the CityBus Plus, and that's where these OmniCities come from. They come from a sort of massive regeneration of Southampton's local buses called CityBus Plus. And part of CityBus Plus is CityBus Direct, and that's where the Romsey Rocket starts. So there will have been routes between Southampton and Romsey before, but they would have been less direct. They wouldn't have taken this route. Or if they did, they would have been very infrequent, you know, that sort of somewhat patchy style of service. But with the CityBus Direct, this direct route to Romsey starts running every half hour. And then with the refurbishments that come with the Morse rebrand, the Romsey Rocket gets strengthened to every 15 minutes. So there's going to be 2 liveries in use, and I will get to those when it's time to launch the service. But we're going to be starting the Romsey Rocket from Vincent's Walk. So let's find... I'm colourblind, I almost clicked on a Southern Vectis route to get red. This is great. Why have I got red and green in the same save? Okay, this is the 61st route of the series, very nice. So this is going to be the 1. Southampton to Romsey. Very nice to finally get this in. And it's going to start from here. And it's going to go around. Where am I? I've been teleported somewhere else. There. And we're going to stop at Hanover Buildings, and Bargate Street, and West Quay, and post me, if you don't mind. There is the new Route 1, running between Southampton and Romsey, direct and quite fast. There's a few stops in the rural section that I'm going to rename, and they're going to get half service, so they're going to get every second bus, which means half hourly, obviously. And that's basically every stop between but not including Upton Crescent, and Romsey Rapid Sports Complex. So this stop, and this stop. So hopefully it won't take too long. It's going to run every 15 minutes. So we'll need 7 buses, so I will buy 8. But how many does 30 minutes need? 30 minutes needs 4 supposedly right now, so... no preferred vehicle group just yet. And I will get this set up in a happy little jump cut. And the timetable is done. And the timetable is done. So we have the 1 and what is internally called the 1X. The 1X is the one that skips these 3 bus stops. And they each run every half hour. So really when the service was bumped up to every 15 minutes, it was the one that was added and the service was already, the service that was already in place was the 1X. And they just improved the 1X's operating hours to fit. Making sure that everyone is 30 minutes. Perfect. So, timetable, let's have a look at vehicle requirement. 4:45 is the first one from Vincent's Walk, which, very early start. Gets into Romsey and it doubles, and it steps back, so it does the 6 o'clock, not the 5:45. Which is a normal one, it's not. So 1X's stay with 1X's and 1s stay with 1s. That's interesting to know. So yeah, 5:40 does the 6. Gets in at 6:54. And does not do the 7, it does the 7:15. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I get 14 buses for it. Yes, if I get 14 buses, which will be... I will probably have 6 in the old livery and 8 in the new. That feels reasonable. Yeah, I'll do that. 6 in the old livery, 8 in the new. So, what are we using? Well, obviously it's a double-decker. I spawned in the menu on the double-deckers. It's not triaxle. It's a route that's been running since CityBus Plus. So it's an Enviro400 actually. I bet you were expecting me to go for an omnidecker because we've been using Scanias for all the CityBus Plus vehicles, but no. We like Volvo here. So this is group number 010. I said we like Volvo here. That spoiled the surprise entirely. These are the VE type. But these also are not the first VEs. They are the first B7TL Enviro400s, but they aren't the first VEs. Stay tuned for when we get down to Bournemouth for those. So, Romsey Rocket CityBus. I finally get to use the CityBus branding, and as you can see, it's swoop branded like the Glasgow Orbits. And I quite like it. The CityBus, the branding goes into the window line, which some people will probably hate me for, but I don't care, it looked good. This type's also different here, so it's on 2 lines here so it doesn't go too far back, but it's on 1 line here because it tucks in nicely and that fits there, and it goes there on this one and it lines up with the bottom of the K. But also the no space but splitting the words by typeface variant that exists on the Morse route branding, that's on CityBus Plus. That's like a CityBus Plus thing. So, yeah. Nowhere does this bus talk about CityBus Plus, apart from CityBus Direct. And 1X is the route quoted, because the 1X is all that existed. So let's apply, and buy those. And then let's buy some more Enviro400s. VE type, everything except premium seats, and we're going to buy 8 of these. And these are going to be in the Morse livery, which I was struggling with this one, I won't lie, because my route branding is very typographic, and I don't know, I felt like I was losing my way because I wanted it to be full red like normal, so I turned whichever symbol was at the front into a little rocket. So normally it's the little one, but on this side there's a big rocket because it's the dash, and I think that's quite cute, it's quite endearing. So there's Romsey Rocket, and I could not afford them, but oh well. And naturally they're all in a weird order. What's happened with these, the reason why they're all in different liveries, is that some of them were new to the Romsey Rocket, the Landor ones, and then the Morse ones were from other services that were transferred to the Romsey Rocket when new buses came in on their services. That's the idea anyway. So I'm going to get these all plated up and put in the fleet where they belong. And apparently they're all inside each other, that's fun. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one more hiding, there it is. And there's 1, 2, 3, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then all of the Morse ones. Beautiful. So I'll get these all sorted. And finally, we have HV57CBX, better known as VE38. So, there's 2 license plates for what is technically 2 separate batches, so yeah, I guess it's correct. There's the original batch of 6, which retain their livery, which is the RO57 batch, so that the first 2 could be RO57 MSY or Romsey, and the second one can be RO57 CKT or Rocket. And then they carry on from CKT, so you got CKU, CKV, CKW, CKX. And then this is the first regular CityBus one, so that's CBP for CityBus Plus, and that continues from there. But we're up to VE38. Again, the first 24 will be down in Portsmouth. Not Portsmouth, Bournemouth, that's the one. Ticket inspector wants some time off? Absolutely. Italics. They support italics. This is very nice. What else is very nice is like this entire livery. I love it. I think it's come out really, really well. Like even the garage and type codes being in sort of negative with the light on the dark, I think that's quite nice. Not that I would be one to have a dark roof on a bus in real life with all too much enthusiasm. In London we paint our bus roofs white because if it's dark then you get like the sun just it just traps all the heat in. Whereas a white roof is really good for that, which is why all the Morse buses have a white roof. Well, it's actually light grey, it's not white, but you get what I'm saying. So now, Southampton and Romsey. Look at that magnificent thing. Let's activate it. First day of service is tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can allocate it to just the original buses. i.e. just the RO57 batch. So tomorrow, assign drivers. We have enough drivers, this is good. There's the HV57 batch, which are in Morse, and here's the RO57 batch. So hopefully there's half of them gone. No, we won't be able to. That's unfortunate. Maybe it was timetabled a little bit more sort of slick back in the day. But I can do this, and we'll only be missing probably 1. Or 2. Yeah, we'll only be missing 1, which is... wow. 1935. Well, there's a 1905. There's a 1935. There's a 1955. And there's a 2025. And then these two can go on HV57 CBP. Isn't that lovely? So, it's coming up to midnight on the Saturday. First day of service being Monday. Obviously, that's how the week works. But let's take stock of the network as it winds down. This is Solent Blue. Solent Blue is still relatively neglected. But what I have realised, and it may mean that we get a bigger bus in the Whiteley Village network, not just the Diddy solos, i.e. we'll be getting a full-size solo or a big solo, is that actually it's quite close to Bishop's Waltham. So maybe that link to Whiteley Village shopping would be good to have for Bishop's Waltham. The Porchester's doing fine, although it's completely wound down for the night. Well, pretty much everything is now. And the Island is in night service. And because it's a Saturday night, Sunday morning, the N25 is in operation using the baby Citaros. Very, very nice. Down on the island, it's very quiet, except for the N13 and the N25. Speaking of, there's another. Up in Southampton, it looks relatively busy because the last Solent Limiteds are still coming in, and the 5 and 30 are 24 hours a day. Meanwhile, over in Solent Blue Land, it's completely quiet. It's completely dead, completely gone. There's nothing, which is intended. Obviously, Eastleigh, Chandlersford, and Romsey, completely nothing. There's nothing going on here. There will be, just not yet. Let's see how the 6 has been doing, actually. How has the 6 been doing? The 6, I mean, it's still in its first couple days in game, so I wouldn't expect too much out of it, but it seems to be doing quite well. The Island 6 is doing brilliantly. This route is absolutely OP for the island, I think. Let's see, how's the 3 doing? Oh, the 3 is outperforming it, but not by much. But then again, the 3 is a shorter route. How's the 1 doing? The 1 is also getting close, and the 1 is even shorter. I knew the 1 needed deck. I knew the 1 needed deckers. Why did I not put deckers on the 1? Oh well. Let's go to the 5 in Southampton. This one, Cornwall Hamble. This is by far and away the most profitable route on the network. I think it's more profitable than most of the routes in West Scotland. Like, I need to brush up on my figures, but I swear that's more profitable than the 16 or the 8. And if it's more profitable than the 15, I'll be very, very impressed. But at the same time, it's a high frequency route through a city that goes well out of the edge of the city on either side. It's the sort of route that would be printing money. The Portchester is bumbling along, doing fine. These routes are performing quite well given how small their vehicles are. There's no W3, it's just the 1 and 2. Interesting. The G1 and G2 are, well, I cut the service back on them, so I would expect them to be doing perhaps a little bit less than they used to. How's the 61 doing? Because that's an indication of how well the 6 is doing, because they're such similar routes. Oh, the 61's doing brilliantly. The 61 is also for people who live along it. By looks a faster link than the 6. Because the 6 goes through here, so it all stops all the way along this way, whereas this one takes the main road between Dibden, Purley and Hardley. As for the Solent Limited, it's rather underperforming. We've got coverage in Nursling. Now we need to sell 500,000 tickets. Delightful. Then down in Solent Blueland there's the 201, Gosport to Stubbington Green, which is doing fairly well for a route that uses single deckers. Then there's the 202, which is off to a pretty good start. And the 206, which is less busy. What is that? That's a 206. Okay, it's busy on the inner end of the route, which is probably that's reasonable. Then there's the 210, which is doing quite well, but honestly not spectacularly. It's not doing the same numbers as the one on the island. The 220 is doing gangbusters. I think that's a number 2 route on the map, after the Southampton 5. The 215 looks like it's not doing well, but it's basically the same route as the 214, which has been in situ for significantly longer. So just let this one bed in a bit more. Then the Newport circulars, or the Newport town runs. The 901 is doing absolutely crazy money. The 903 is doing quite well. That's a really short run. The 904 is doing decent. What about the 905? 905's not doing too badly either. The 59 is quite busy. It's not making much money, but it is fairly busy. What about the 57? Well, the 57 is the big cross-country one, and it sort of just ends. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect that one to be doing too well. What about Ride? How's Ride doing? So Ride, very busy, not very profitable. Well, actually, for a mini-links route, it's doing quite well. But again, this is all for a mini-links. For a mini-links route, the 34 is doing brilliantly. And then these services, the 36 and the 37, well, the 37 not so much. The 39 was never destined to be the most successful route, but it was an important connection to have, in my mind. However, the 1 is in operation, and it's fairly busy already. This is RO57 CKX. Let's see how it's doing. It is rammed. Rammed is the only way to describe that through Shirley. And fast through there, 35 people on the fast section, not bad, not bad at all. CKV, this one's going out 10:30, which is now. Picking up decent numbers in Romsey. And then down through the fast section, because all Sunday services are 1Xs. 1Xs have a longer stop at Upton Crescent, just so that the service is a bit more of an even half hour or even quarter hourly on weekdays. Which I could get rid of that reasonably for Sunday, but I don't. being followed by 12. We'll see how the 11 and 12 are doing when we get back into Southampton on this. I'm legitimately curious because they're quite busy, and you know, they're local routes in Southampton, so I mean those always seem to do well. But this is doing fabulously. It seems like all the 1Xs are picking up quite well. This is Rocket. This is Rocket. And it leaves at 11:30. So let's see how it does. 60 on board through Southampton coming up to the station. And 57 on board leaving, so decent. 67 on board there. That's... Ooh, I punched the microphone. That's how insane these numbers are. I punched my microphone again. Second episode in a row. Can't even remember why I did it in the West Scotland episode. I think it's just that I'm clumsy. Which, you know, not surprising at all. Lots of people getting off through here. Would expect that in Lord's Hill, because there's a fair few places in Lord's Hill. Very busy area. Ooh, hello. We just earned a thing. Refuel some buses. And we're selling tickets, and we now have to complete 22,600 tours successfully, which is very nice. The game has done its thing, where it auto-saves at perhaps the worst possible moment. Love that. Oh, and that's going out of service. Which one are you? That's CKW. So let's see how the 11 and 12 are doing. The 11 is doing 221,000 in profit per week, in-game, and the 12 is doing 230. Now, it's been a while since I put the 12 in, so I'm just going to run over it again, because when you load it up like that, it looks really confusing. So, it starts... Where does it start? Vincent's Walk? Yeah, it starts on Vincent's Walk. But it comes in from the north and does a little loop. And it comes out, and it goes basically the same way as the 1 does, which is why their numbers start with 1. Then the 12 goes through Millbrook, out past this estate, rejoins the 1 again, then goes up through the Sainsbury's? Is it Sainsbury's? Yes it is. Then it does nonsense here. I think it goes... Yeah, it goes up, around, through Lordswood Centre again, and then up the top 1. And then you see the 11, it will do the opposite, which is actually a significantly simpler routing. But such is life. And then it comes down here, through the hospital, and then loops back here. It's not a complete circular like it may seem if you look at it from afar. The 11 is significantly simpler, but the 12 is busier, so you know. We take these routes on their merit. The 11 follows the 1 for significantly less of its route, just up here. You know, how are the immediate profit numbers of the 1 looking? Decent. So, I'm thinking, which is dangerous, that it might be a good idea to do another Gosport local service. We won't be able to activate it because the money has the money went but downwards because I bought loads of big buses. The question is where. The question is where should these buses go? And I don't want to run another route to Lyon on Solent. In fact, I won't. this seems perfectly good as coverage for Leon the Solent. But I want to serve here. There's a lot of places I want to serve, but I have no idea how. I also want to serve this road. Something about this road is sort of yelling at me that it might be good. And then rejoin the G1 and G2 here, follow the 202 up this road, and then keep going here, or follow the main road up here and go down like that and through there and out? Or do I start planning the Romsey runners? You know what? How long have I been recording? 50 minutes. Easy. Let's start planning the Romsey runners. So the Romsey runners will be lettered. They will be lettered with the letter R. Like how they are in Salisbury, although in Salisbury, of course, that means reds. So, the R1, uppercase please, the R1, let's have that be the North Baddesley circuit. R1, North Baddesley circular. I didn't get my colour. Oh well, post me if you don't mind, thank you very much. Is the final of the Romsey runners, the R8, which just runs up to Woodley, which is a sort of a little housing estate. Probably doesn't need a bus service, but you know what? I'm feeling nice. They get a bus. But I'm very happy with how well Romsey's been covered, and obviously we're not going to get all to them all today. Well, obviously not, but we'll slowly activate them as we go through the series, and that will be I'm setting them as running from SW for now, just because I know that garage has a lot of space. But let's have a little run through that the time-lapse didn't get to. So first is the R1, North Baddesley Circular, and I believe this one is the anti-clockwise. Although, yeah, I can already see from what side of the road they're on, this is the anti-clockwise circuit. Then there's the R2, which is the clockwise circuit of North Baddesley. The R3 and R4 are circuits of Abbotswood Common, and although they do take slightly different routes going up to Abbotswood Common. The R4 goes up this way, and the R3 goes up this way, don't get confused. Then there's the R5, which runs from Romsey the long way round through to Whitenap. And then the R6 and R7 are really big circulars to Crampmore and Halterworth. And finishing up on the R8, which just runs up the main road to Woodley. There will be more services out of Romsey, of course, but these are the basic town services. And I think we have Romsey quite well covered. It certainly looks it. So I'm going to have a look at where is RO57. There's CKT. You know, let's go to CKT and follow it for the remainder of its run up to Romsey to conclude the episode in our new domain, Romsey. Doing quite well for a Sunday afternoon, I have to admit. There we go. Let's see if, well, there definitely will be people home at SM, because most of the Morse ones haven't gone out. So, from our new fleet of Romsey Rocket Enviro400 vehicles, I will see you next week. Bye bye.